Hi, my name is Christian Estevez. Welcome to my presentation of Performance Management, Motivating Employees in the Public Sector for the Rutgers EMPA Human Resources Management class. I began working for the Mercer County government on August 1st of 2024. I was hired to take over as the director of the Mercer County Workforce Development Board, which is a division of the Mercer County Office of Economic Development. The Workforce Development Board, along with the rest of county government, was plagued by mismanagement under the previous administration, and I was among the new directors hired to help clean up the mess. It was immediately clear that financial controls needed to be developed and followed, but it was also clear that employees were working in a cloud of uncertainty and isolation. Under those conditions, it would be impossible for the organization to operate at the optimal level. For an organization to excel, to be more than just good, the entire team must be invested in its mission. However, it is not possible for employees to be invested in an organization's mission if they're not even invested in themselves. Workers that have been kept in the dark for years and are only spoken to when they are being blamed for an organization's failures learn how to keep their heads down and stay out of trouble. They will not put in any extra effort or look for opportunities to help the organization get ahead. For an employee to put in full effort, they need to clearly understand what is expected of them and that their personal goals are supported by management. Management can help employees by providing them with feedback on their behavior and performance. Through this project, I sought out to learn more about the best practices in motivating employees through performance management so that I can help employees feel valued in their work and invested in the organization because they feel that the organization is invested in them. My hope is that by helping employees feel good about themselves and good about the organization and the work that we do, we can get them to put their best efforts forward. I am confident that if every member of the team puts their best efforts forward, we can achieve great results. As the director of the Mercer County Workforce Development Board, my ability to reward employees under my supervision is limited by county, state, and federal laws, rules, and regulations. Like all public managers, I have limited ability to influence employees. Opportunities to control material incentives is limited in the public sector. In the public sector, manager control over structural features of organizations is limited. Therefore, we must rely on more normative inducements and creating an encouraging work environment. Upon arriving at the Mercer County Workforce Development Board, I had to quickly figure out other ways to increase employee morale and in turn encourage more productivity from my team. While I can review an employee's current job classification and pay, making adjustments where warranted, I will only be able to make changes in pay for some employees and will not be able to come back to that tool for an extended period of time. Unlike the private sector, I cannot provide annual bonuses for good performance. In my search for answers on how to motivate employees on my team, I first turned to the extensive research and theories on employee motivation, beginning with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which organizes human needs into a five-level pyramid. Maslow suggested that individuals must fulfill lower level needs before moving up to higher level ones, and that doing so leads to greater motivation and fulfillment. Lower level needs begin with food and shelter and work their way up to self esteem and then finally self actualization. Hertzberg's two factor theory breaks these needs into two categories: hygiene, which includes salary, job security, and working conditions, and motivators, which include recognition, growth opportunities, and meaningful work. Self determination theory states that employees have three innate psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness, or the need for social connection. Room expectancy theory states that it is important to align organizational goals, providing the necessary resources to ensure that desired outcomes are meaningful. Employees want to believe that their efforts will result in successful performance and valued rewards. Finally, McGregor's Theory X and Theory Y states that managers can create positive work environments by empowering employees, promoting responsibility, and fostering motivation and creativity. Theory X assumes that employees are lazy and need to be controlled and closely supervised. Theory Y, on the other hand, assumes that employees are self motivated and seek responsibility. To apply the leading theories, I tried to implement a combination of practices, beginning with setting challenging but feasible goals. The manager that I replaced did not have a lot of confidence in her staff and therefore did a lot of the work herself, keeping her employees in the dark and idle. It was clear to me upon arrival that employees were very dissatisfied and morale was at rock bottom. I saw my first task as freeing these employees by letting them do their jobs. Starting at what they knew how to do, we set challenging but feasible goals. To build trust with them, I made credible commitments to do certain things to help them learn their jobs and to use my influence to clear certain obstacles for them. Seeing me come through on my promises went a long way toward building trust with them. Every employee on my team expressed that their previous manager did not involve them in planning or decision making. Staff meetings consisted solely of the manager lecturing them or scolding them for things that many times they didn't understand how it was their fault since she did not give them any training or trust. To address this, I approached individual and team meetings differently. I asked them what they thought we should do to meet our objectives. While they felt they were mostly kept in the dark in the past, I probed them for what they did know about how things were done and thanked them for sharing their expertise with me and the rest of the team. I encouraged dialogue between them, something that had been prohibited by the former manager. The exchange of ideas infused our meetings with a new sense of energy that seems to have improved morale tremendously in a short period of time. Lastly, I sought to provide opportunities for employees to give and receive feedback. The research told me that feedback is an essential but often overlooked component of the communication process. According to Essential Communication Skills for Managers, Volume 1, feedback is most candid when the two people trust each other. Also, giving prompt and well timed feedback can be a plus and prevent problems. In closing, it has been found to be key to employee productivity and performance. In closing, motivation has been found to be key to employee productivity and performance. Good managers look to harness and direct people's psychic energy toward work objectives. The first step is to recognize that potential psychic energy is stored in all people and it is eager to burst out. As stated in Theory Y, employees do not generally want to avoid responsibility. In fact, the opposite is true of most people. Most employees want to be motivated. They want to feel fulfillment that comes from turning that potential psychic energy into kinetic psychic energy that results in tangible products that they can take pride of ownership in. The failure to release that energy tends not to be the fault of the employees, but rather that of unimaginative managers who lack the skills to motivate their employees. It falls upon the manager to create a workplace where employees feel motivated, as these workplaces are often more enjoyable, attractive, and productive. In the short time that I've been the director of the Mercer County Workforce Development Board, I have seen firsthand how applying these best practices in employee motivation can turn around a workplace for the better. Longtime employees have told me that since my arrival, they feel seen and valued for the first time. Employees who learn to keep their mouths shut and heads down are now actively participating in team meetings and being proactive in their work instead of waiting for orders from management. This change is also evident in the number of times employees call out sick. During my first 2 months on the job, A time when the old manager was still here, I witnessed some employees who called out sick at least once or twice weekly. Now that the old manager is gone and I am fully in charge, those same employees have almost completely stopped calling out sick. More importantly, employees on my team are developing a sense of responsibility toward each other. Every day, I am witnessing increased collaboration initiated by the employees themselves with no prodding from me. All of this serves as proof that antiquated theories like scientific management have no place in the modern workplace, as they only serve to suck the life out of workers and dehumanize them in search of the one perfect way of doing things. In order to have productive and innovative workplaces, we need to create work environments where employees feel free to stretch beyond their current reality and become their best selves. Thank you. References.